What's up? It is Monday, so it's time for another edition of 3 Point Stance presented by Mountain Dew. Meghan, Triplett, John, and Rosa are here with you, and we're gonna make this 3 Point Stance NBA style because, oh my goodness, Rosa, what it was a weekend for NBA playoffs. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Now look, it was exciting, but can we start with the Grizzlies on Saturday?
That was not exciting.
It was not. We lost to the Timberwolves. It wasn't the result that we wanted. The final was 130 to 117. I mean, Roser, I guess the biggest thing I know has to be one of our stances that the Grizzlies have to play better basketball.
Well, they have to. There's a couple things. They have to play tougher.
Mm-hmm.
They got frustrated with officials, which was stupid because they took a million free throws. Dylan's like a career 83% free throw shooter, and he couldn't make free throws either. But officials were not the reason. Minnesota was tougher. Minnesota was more composed. The Grizzlies played like a team that hadn't played meaningful basketball in a month, and Ja looked like a guy who hasn't played a meaningful game in over a month. And I think the other thing too, Adams, more Brandon, less Adams, and Jaren has to be able to stay on the floor. It's because Adams is not going to be able to play in this series against Towns. Jaren has to be able to stay on the floor. Like, you cannot block every shot, and he has to learn that. He tries to block everything, and you cannot block everything. He had a ton of blocks, but he had a ton of fouls, and Jaren in foul trouble. We know what this team is like when Jaren's off the court and when Jaren's on the court. The other thing too, though, I would say, there's this website, and they have a Twitter handle, Shot Quality, @ShotQuality. And they base everything on, the quality of shots that you get and take and make and miss. And then they run that all into the algorithm or whatever, and they pop out what the score of the game should have been. So the final score was 130-117 Minnesota. According to Shot Quality, the final score of the game should have been 127-112 Grizzlies. So they're saying the Grizzlies got good looks.
Yeah.
They just did not make. The Grizzlies got better looks than Minnesota. The Grizzlies just didn't make their shots. And I thought the Grizzlies played tight. I thought they clammed up, especially in the beginning of the game and in the fourth quarter. And they got to be tougher. Lights are on now. And there are a lot of teams that would love to see the Grizzlies go home early because of how much trash they talk. So they got to be ready tomorrow night. I think they will be ready, but they can't play tight.
Right. And I think I'm going to add on to that. It's like, you got to have a better start. I mean, You saw the Timberwolves. I mean, you're at home. The fans were there. The fans were loud. It was electric. The Grizz house were out. And the Timberwolves still started out that first quarter. They had more of the urgency, and they had the intensity. And it felt as if by the time the Grizzlies kind of got into it, it was like the second quarter. And that's when, at that moment, the momentum was just always swinging into the Timberwolves' favor. I agree with you. The Grizzlies got better shot quality. And then also, even though the Timberwolves were playing such great basketball, the Grizzlies were still in the game. And if you go back to the word that Coach Higgins always says, playing into their standard, where it comes to, you got to control the pace, getting it inside. I know it's going to be, I think it's different when it comes to the inside battle with Carl Anthony Towns down there, but you got to stick to your type of basketball. And as Desmond Bain says, you're going to have to put up more threes, because that's the category that we're all looking at. This is the Timberwolves group who attempts the most threes in the league. Yeah. The majority of their points are going to come from behind the arc. Not only do you have to contest those threes, but also you're going to have to match it and at least put up more threes. You can't have them attempting 41 and you attempting 27.
And Minnesota got nothing out of Russell, and that's not going to be. Here's another thing too. Taylor, emotional challenge. He should not have challenged that. So that was an emotional challenge. That one play he challenged. It was emotional, and I think he kind of lost his composure a little bit there. The other thing too is, this is not the regular season anymore, and you cannot treat it like the regular season and just play these guys, all these bench guys, a lot of minutes. You cannot do that. The best two players on the court the other night were Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards played 40 minutes, and Karl Anthony Towns played 42 minutes. The Grizzlies' two best players the other day were Ja, no matter how bad he was defensively, and Dylan Brooks. And they both played 35 minutes. So their two best guys played 12 more minutes combined than your two best guys, which is a full quarter of basketball. Like, you've got to play your guys big minutes. You have to play those guys, especially if DeAnthony Melton has played 6 career playoff games with the Grizzlies. He is 12 of 35 from the field and 3 for 23 from 3. If he's not going to make anything, he can't play 15 minutes.
Yeah, Coach Higgins was asked about that, and he said the first game is very telling. And I think he's played a 10-man lineup the entire season. He was kind of going with that direction. John Moran said the same thing. He was like, I played 35 minutes the entire season. I trust Coach Jenkins. I do think that there might be some adjustments that will be made.
Yeah, I believe so too. Brandon Clark's going to play more. Brandon was awesome. And they didn't have a matchup for Brandon. Brandon's going to play more.
I think we're going to see maybe a different type of style of what the game plan will be in coming game 2. And we need fans to come out and show out just like you did for game 1, Tuesday night at 7:30. Make sure you call 901-8 for tickets. Let's move on across the entire league.
We just spent half our time on that.
I know. Can we do Western Conference? Because you still had some big games. Dallas gets a victory. Golden State got a victory. And then Phoenix.
Utah beat Dallas.
Utah beat Dallas. And then you also had Phoenix. And then you had Golden State. What stood out to you?
Phoenix looked, when they cranked it up, they looked awesome. You know, when we saw the Grizzlies beat the Suns at full strength a couple of weeks ago, the one thing that I noticed was like Chris Paul always controls everything in a game. Like he just is that guy. Like he's so smart and knows how to control the pace of a game. And he did not do that in that game. He was just kind of non-existent, like going through the motion. Well, Chris Paul was freaking 30 points, like 9 assists last night. Chris Paul was unbelievable. And I know New Orleans made a run, but Phoenix, when they flexed, they looked like the best team in the West.
Yeah. Well, since you said Phoenix, I'm going to go with Golden State because a lot of questions are about Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is his first game back after injury. Is he ready? Steph Curry came off the bench, and that is a huge deal. Steph Curry's not come off the bench, and he knew that. You know what? I'm okay with coming off the bench. Let Jordan Poole start there. Jordan Poole had an amazing game. Great decision. 30 points.
He's so good. God, he's good.
Down 5 threes. Like that was a franchise record for them in a playoff series for your first playoff game. I mean, you look up and down this group, and I do think that for Golden State, all the issues that we kind of came into it, and I think Denver is it's going to be a difficult matchup for them because Jokic can't do everything. Jokic was getting beat up. His nose was red. He could not do everything. And in Golden State, they won the rebound battle, the offensive rebounds. And when you have it, the Warriors looked that complete team that we saw earlier in this season. So Golden State stood out to me. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference, though. Now, what stood out to you for the Eastern Conference?
Oh, I mean, it's Boston and Brooklyn. That was an all-time game. I actually only got to see. I saw the first 3 quarters, and then I had to leave and go do Easter stuff with family. But by the time I got out to Collierville, where I was going, we flipped on, and it was the final possession. Like I got to see the very ending of it, but I love KD, I love Kyrie, so I hate that I missed most of the fourth quarter of Kyrie going off. I love it. This is, Trae Young in New York last year. It's the villain. Kyrie plays the villain role, mocking the fans. He's going to get a couple of fines for everything he did. Yeah. Multiple birds, F-bombs in press conferences directed at the fans. So he's going to get fined, but I still stay with it. When he's on and cooking like that, he's the most fun player to watch in the entire NBA. I'm dead. There is nobody that has that skill. It is, and you know how it ended rough with him and LeBron, and even LeBron's tweeting about him. Like it is insane. That pass that he made to the corner to Patty Mills at the end of the first half was just ridiculous. But Boston, Jason Tatum is the next KD, Kobe level scorer superstar.
I was going to say, you can't talk about Kyrie the whole time when Jason Tatum hits a game-winning shot.
Oh my God, I love Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum.
Look, I love him. All I will say is that's a round 1 series, and I'm all here for it. But I'm like, only one team can move on. It's giving us everything that we thought it was.
And Ben Simmons is going to come back.
And that's oh my gosh. And for me, since you said that game, how about the Heat and the way that?
Oh my God, they look devastating. I mean, now some of that for Atlanta. Atlanta played Friday night,
right?
And then they have to play a freaking noon Eastern game. Like that's rough. That's rough.
It was rough. They looked as if they had a long. Yeah. Well, the Heat looked as if they had a whole entire week off, and the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, they play their type of style of basketball. I'm still intrigued, but for some reason, the Heat being the 1 seed, we don't talk about them enough.
No, we don't. We talk about Milwaukee, we talk about Brooklyn, we talk about Boston and Philly.
Right.
Milwaukee just goes about their business, and they're freaking awesome. They can all defend. They're dogs. Tucker, Lowry, Butler, Bam Adebayo. Oh my! I love Bam Adebayo.
We're all watching now. We're all going to be watching the Heat, and that's all the time we have for this edition of 3 Point Stance.